So we learned quite few patterns, how to make a plural out of nouns in the nominative case. That's enough of rules. Now I will give you some exceptions, and there will be quite few exceptions, very important words, and you might question yourself, why are we learning all of these rules if there are so many exceptions? As many exceptions as the actual rules which are following the patterns or grammatical rules. Well, you have to do this. First, you need to understand the rules. I'm not expecting from you to memorize all of those rules, just understand them, understand the pattern, get used to these patterns. And well, if you come across an exception, and I assume you have to memorize this exception, you have to learn it by heart, otherwise you won't be able to make a plural, which is absolutely basic in the language. Think about it this way. You get a word which is exceptional, but if you don't know it's an exception, you can try to use a pattern which already exists in your head. And the great thing on this, Russians will understand you. It is not the suggestion that any Russian teacher would give you. And I don't want to be also any Russian teacher. I want you to see the language as the tool of communication. You want to transmit some message to somebody. You don't want to write a book, or you don't want to write a thesis in the Russian language. I assume not on this point. I hope at some point you will be able to write book and thesis in Russian language. However, at this point, your most important task is to make yourself being understand. So try to learn the patterns, and these patterns will help you to come to the right word, even if it's an exception. Because once you speak with a person and you give a plural which you build up on some of the rules, a person will definitely understand where it comes from, and this person will just simply correct you. Let's start working. Brat. Brat is brother. Brat. Brat is brother. It is masculine. Everything what's masculine, so everything what's naturally is masculine, it got the masculine case in Russian language, so masculine gender in Russian language. However, brat, it ends in ten, so according to our rules, it should end with e or I. So, for example, kvadrat is square, and kvadraty, squares. So we are ending after t with I. But for brat, it is an exception, and the exception is bratья. Братья. Брат, братья. Brat, братья. So brother, brothers. Let's assume you don't know братья and you use the general pattern. Браты. It's fine. Sometimes I can even, I heard this combination. If somebody wanted to fake a peasant language and he just put браты, it's absolutely fine. People will understand that you want to say, you want to transmit the plural of brothers. But you can only do this if you understand the pattern, the general pattern. Друг. Друг is friend. Друг. So друг is masculine. What would be if we would use the general pattern? Do you remember? Flag, флаги. Друг, други. However, for друг we got друзья. Друзья. Друг, друзья. We got floating emphasis. However, here it's not even floating emphasis because it's a different word. We got the same root, but it ends with зя. Друг, друзья. If we would use the general pattern, it would be други, друг, други. Perfect peasant language, people will understand you. However, you have to know the pattern. So друг and the plural, друзья. Стул. Stool is chair. Stool, and the plural would be стулья. Стулья. Я. Stool, стулья. And stool is masculine. Сын. Сын is son. Сын is son. And the plural is сыновья. 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 Сын, сыновья. Дочь. Дочь is feminine. Дочь is feminine. And the plural would be дочери. До-че-ри. Дочь, дочери. Дом. Дом is house. It is masculine because it ends in M. What would be the plural of dom? We already learned it. Дома. До-ма. Дом, дома. Дочь, дочери. What would be the general pattern for дочь? Do you remember? What was the letter we were exchanging soft sign for? It was E. So if we would use the pattern, дочь would become дочи. Дочь, дочи. And within the sentence, it would be absolutely fine if you put дочи. People will understand you, even if the sound is absolutely different. Дочери, дочи. People will understand you are a foreigner and you use the particular pattern. And actually, you did it right. It would be a great success feeling for you once you understand, or once somebody will correct you, and it will become a small success for you, that you learn something new. However, people already understood you. Мать. Мать is mother. Мать is mother. It is feminine, and the plural would be матери. Матери. Мать, матери. Мать, матери. Отец, father. Отец, отец. And masculine, the plural would be отцы. Отцы. Отец, отцы. Отец, the emphasis falls on the Отец, отцы. Мать, матери. Отец, отцы. Ребенок is child. Ребенок. Ребенок. And ребенок is masculine. And the plural would be дети. Дети. Ребенок, дети. So, ребенок, because we got yo, the emphasis falls always on yo. Ребенок, дети. Got absolutely different root. So, ребенок and дети. What could happen here? Let's assume you got дети. Дети, you can make a singular дитя, which is fine. So if you derive from дети, дитя, it is fine. And if you make out of ребенок, ребенки, because we got ka here, and the general rule would say you need to make a plural, you just need to end it with и. Ребенок, ребенки. Also fine, people will understand you. So even the root of the words is different, two absolutely different words. However, if you understand and know the general rule, you can make yourself understand. Цветок. Цветок is flower. Цветок. Цветок is masculine, and the plural would be цветы. Цветы. Цветок, цветы. And now англичанин, Englishman, англичанин, англичанин, англичанин. Англичанин with the emphasis on a, and the plural would be англичане. Ан, г, ли, ча, не. Англичанин, англичане. Англичанин, англичане. Я англичанин. I am Englishman. Мы англичане. We are Englishmen. Я не англичанин. I'm not an Englishman. Мы не англичане. We are not Englishmen. And for American, американец. А, ме, ри, ка, нец. Американец. With C. Американец. With the emphasis on A. And the plural would be американцы. А, ме, ри, кан, цы. Американцы. Американец. Американцы. Я американец. I'm American. Я не американец. I'm not an American. Я американец. Я не американец. Мы американцы. We are Americans. Мы не американцы. Мы не англичане. Я не англичанин. Я англичанин. Мы не англичане. Let's repeat the words, because these words are kind of important. You need to memorize them, or you need to understand that братья, друзья, стулья, сыновья are plural of accordingly брат, друг, стул, and сын. So, brother, брат, братья, друг, друзья, стул, стулья. Even if you cannot really recognize the pattern here, there is a pattern. So basically we ended with soft sign ya here. This is an example. And the same with англичанин, англичане, американец, американцы. At some point you will more or less intuitively recognize, well, there is a certain vocal pattern and there is certain intuition on how to derive a next word, which is sounding kind of like англичанин. So, брат, братья, brother, brothers, друг, friend, друзья, friends, стул, стулья, chair, chairs, стул, стулья. The gender is again like everything what ends in t, g, and l got masculine gender. So the gender, there is no exception here. Сын, again, ends in n, it is masculine. Son. Сын, сыновья. Дочь. Дочь is daughter, feminine. Дочери, daughters. Дочь, дочери. Сын, сыновья. Дом, дома. Building, buildings. House, houses. Дом, дома. Мать, mother. Матери, mothers. Мать, матери. Отец, отцы. Отец, отцы. Actually here it's written with T, but in pronunciation T is almost disappearing from the word. Отцы. Отец, отцы. Отец, отцы. It's absolutely fine if you pronounce it with T. Actually, it is much better. Don't try to fake Russian pronunciation, because if you pronounce it отцы, there is no way that somebody won't understand you. Отец, отцы. Ребенок, дети. Ребенок, дети. It got yo, and if we got yo inside the word, the emphasis falls always on yo. Ребенок, дети. Child, children. Цветок, flower. Цветы, flowers. Pronounce everything with me. Don't forget to pronounce after me. Цветок, цветы. I'm pronouncing it over and over again to exercise your pronunciation, and it helps you to remember the word also. Англичанин, Englishman, англичане, the plural of Englishman. Американец, американцы. American, Americans. Американец, американцы. If somebody tells я американец or refers to американец, people always refer to people from United States, not from the continent of America. So американец is citizen of United States of America. So американец, американцы. Англичанин, англичане. Englishman, the plural of Englishman.